The following message is transmitted at the request of the Tulare County Police Department. At 5:06 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, numerous reports from 911 calls have come in that riots have broken out near the Tulare County Superior Court. At this time, it is believed that these riots revolve mainly around communist ideology and the disdain for the results of the recent presidential election. An estimated 300 people are currently participating in the unrest, with most of them believed to be carrying firearms and other tactical equipment. At this time, all residents of Tulare County are advised to remain indoors and lock all windows and doors. If any participant of the riots enter your home, you are advised to use armed protection by any means possible. Do not participate in these demonstrations. Any and all persons who attempt to join the rioters will be arrested on sight and interrogated. This ordinance has been set in place to prevent any further damage to city property. Stay tuned for more information on this dangerous situation. The following message is transmitted at the request of the California Department of Homeland Security. This is an update to the ongoing unrest occurring inside Tulare County. The protests have now grown larger in size, and the rioters have somehow taken control of the county and plan to do the same with surrounding counties and areas. The United States Army National Guard is currently mobilizing troops to be sent in to reclaim control of the county. All residents within a 20-mile radius of Tulare County are advised to evacuate the area immediately. Areas within this range include northern Kern County, eastern Kings County, southern Fresno County, and southwestern Inyo County. If you reside in these areas, and evacuation is not possible, get inside a shelter or interior room in your house with minimal entrances and no windows. Bring 30 days worth of food, water, medical supplies, and ammunition. If any participant of the insurrection tries to break into your shelter, you are advised to use armed protection by any means possible. Stay tuned for further updates. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Albuquerque Police Department. At 6:27 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, several reports have come in stating that riots have broken out in the city of Albuquerque. These riots revolve mainly around communist ideology and are speculated to have connections to the riots that started in California. There are currently around 23,000 people participating in the unrest across the states of California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico. They are believed to be armed with deadly weaponry such as semi and fully automatic assault rifles, handguns, shotguns, long-range sniper rifles, and makeshift grenades. They are currently running around the city of Albuquerque destroying property such as cars, houses, planes, and buildings. At this time, all residents of the city of Albuquerque are advised to remain indoors and lock all windows and doors. If any participant of these demonstrations breaks into your home, you are advised to use armed protection by any means possible. Do not attempt to join the rioters. Anyone caught attempting to cause destruction of public property will be arrested on sight and interrogated. Stay tuned for further updates as this situation develops. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Orlando Police Department. At 3:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, several reports from 911 calls have been received concerning riots that have broken out in the city of Orlando and surrounding areas. These demonstrations revolve mainly around far-right ultra-nationalistic ideologies, and also serve as a response to the unrest, which took place in California and New Mexico. There are currently around 1,500 people participating in the unrest. They were observed breaking into stores and looting them, using lethal force to convert other citizens to their ideology, and even using tear gas to disorient law enforcement personnel. The National Guard has been dispatched in the city to put a stop to the damage that is currently being done. At this time, all residents within a 10-mile radius of the city of Orlando are advised to get indoors with all windows, doors, and other entrances locked. If any of the rioters enter your home with the intent to harm, you are advised to use armed protection by any means possible. Do not participate in these demonstrations. Any and all persons who attempt to join the rioters will be arrested on sight and interrogated. This ordinance has been set in place to ensure that no further damage will be done to city property. Stay tuned for more information on this dangerous situation. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Florida Office of Emergency Management. This is an update to the ongoing situation that is currently unfolding in the city of Orlando and surrounding areas. At 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the rioters who began causing destruction and chaos in the city have now overrun the Orange County government. They used tear gas to disorient law enforcement personnel, deeming them workers of Satan. Attempts at stopping the insurrectionists have failed, as many first responders and city residents were killed trying to confront them. The insurrectionists plan on doing the same to other counties in the state, and eventually going to surrounding states. The riots have also grown larger in size. There are now an estimated 30,000 individuals participating in the unrest, with many of them carrying firearms and other tactical equipment. At this time, all residents within a 30-mile radius of the city of Orlando are advised to stay inside their homes and lock all windows, doors, and other entrances. Areas within this 30-mile radius include all of Orange County, all of Seminole County, southwestern Volusia County, northwestern Brevard County, northern Osceola County, northeastern Polk County, and eastern Lake County. If any of the insurrectionists enter your home with the intent to harm, you are advised to use armed protection by any means possible. The United States National Guard has been dispatched in Orange County in an attempt to regain control of it. Stay tuned for further updates as they become available. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Houston Police Department. At 5:36 p.m. Central Standard Time, several conflicting reports from 911 calls were received stating that riots have broken out in the city of Houston and surrounding areas. These riots revolve mainly around far-right ultra-nationalistic ideologies and are believed to be in connection to the demonstrations which took place in Orlando, Florida. There are currently around 70,000 people participating in these demonstrations across the states of Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. These individuals were observed breaking into stores and looting them, using deadly force in an attempt to convert others to their ideology, and using tear gas and fireworks to disorient law enforcement personnel. Most of the rioters are also believed to be carrying deadly weaponry such as semi- and fully automatic assault rifles, handguns, shotguns, long-range sniper rifles, knives, machetes, and makeshift grenades. At this time, all residents of Harris, Fort Bend, and Montgomery counties are advised to remain indoors with all windows, doors, and other entrances locked. If any participant of the riots entered your home with the intent to harm, you are advised to use armed protection by any means possible. Do not participate in these demonstrations. Any and all persons who attempt to join the rioters will be arrested on site and interrogated. Stay tuned for more information on this dangerous situation. The following message is transmitted at the request of the New York City Police Department. At 10:28 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, reports have come in stating that riots have broken out in Lower Manhattan. These demonstrations revolve mainly around libertarian ideologies, such as anarcho-capitalism. An estimated 4,000 people are currently participating in the unrest. They were observed trying to directly overrun the city government by staging an insurrection at the city hall, with some of them going so far as to use deadly weaponry in an attempt to achieve their goal. The National Guard has been dispatched to the city hall to dispel the rioters and restore order in Lower Manhattan. All residents within New York City limits are advised to remain indoors with all windows, doors, and other entrances locked. If any of these individuals enters your home with the intent to harm, you are advised to use armed protection by any means possible. Should you choose to join the insurrection and damage city property, you will be arrested on site and interrogated. Stay tuned to media outlets for further updates as they become available. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Boston Police Department. At 1:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, riots have broken out in the city of Boston and surrounding areas. These riots revolve mainly around libertarian ideologies and around the growing public disapproval of the country's tax policies, and are believed to be in connection with the demonstrations currently underway in New York City. There are currently around 2,000 citizens participating in the demonstrations within the city of Boston. Many of them are believed to be armed with deadly weaponry. They are currently running around the city dumping bags of tea into the Boston Harbor, causing damage to city property, using tear gas to disorient law enforcement personnel, and breaking into the city hall causing chaos and destruction. The National Guard is being dispatched in the city to dispel these individuals and restore order in the city. All residents in Suffolk County are advised to remain indoors with all windows and doors locked. If any of the rioters enter your home with the intent to harm, you are advised to use armed protection by any means possible. Stay tuned for more information on this dangerous situation. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Offices of Emergency Management in the states of Massachusetts and New York. The situation regarding the riots in the city of Boston has severely worsened. At 11:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the insurrectionists have overran the forces deployed at the state capitol building, and are currently attempting to take over the state of Massachusetts. It has also been confirmed that this group, known as the New England Liberation Front, plans to march to Albany, New York to join forces with the insurrectionist group from New York City and seize control of the New England area. The Liberation Front has also grown larger in size. As of now, there are currently around 100,000 people who have joined the front in the states of Massachusetts, New York, and Connecticut, with a much higher percentage of them believed to be carrying deadly weaponry than in the last few days. At this time, any person receiving this broadcast are advised to remain indoors with all windows, doors, and other entrances locked. If any of the insurrectionists break into your home with the intent to harm, you are advised to use armed protection by any means possible. Stay tuned for more information on this dangerous situation. We interrupt our regular programming. This is a national emergency. Important details will follow. Please stand by. Please stand by. Please stand by. The President of the United States, or another authorized federal official, will shortly deliver a message over the emergency alert system. Please stand by.
My fellow Americans, this message has been given authorization to transmit on all radio and television stations in the United States. At the request of myself, the Department of Homeland Security, and the United States government. This is not a drill. I will say this once more. This is not a drill. At 10:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I received word concerning several states in the Union deciding to secede from the United States. These states have since declared war on the United States government. The states that have declared secession have split up into three factions, the first of which being the communist paramilitary group currently occupying the western part of the continental United States. The states currently being controlled by the communists include Washington, Oregon, Nevada, California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. The second out of the three factions would be the far-right Christian nationalist group, which is currently occupying the southern and eastern part of the country. The states being controlled by this faction include South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. The third faction are the libertarian anarcho-capitalists currently occupying the northeastern portion of the country. The states being controlled by this faction include Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. Their secession and their declaration of war will not be taken lightly. This is a very serious and highly coordinated attack on our country. And so I ask every person listening to this broadcast to listen closely, because the information that I am about to give will be vital for your safety. First, grab any weapons you can find. These could be firearms, blades, or other melee objects. Next, grab any non-perishable food, water, medical supplies, or battery-powered radios that you may have. Seek shelter immediately, or go to your nearest place of safety. This should be a place where there are minimal entrances, no windows, and thick walls. If you are in close proximity to a state that is seceded, and you find yourself being attacked by a paramilitary group, fight. Fight back the best you can. We cannot and will not give in to the demands of these groups. The United States military is currently being dispatched to the states that have seceded in order to regain control of them. We will rise up against these terrorist groups and restore our country's unity as one nation under God. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to this message. Good luck, and God bless America.
That was a message from the President of the United States. Please stay tuned for this message. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency alert system. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air providing news and information to the public in assigned areas. This is WMAQ, and we will continue to serve the Chicago metropolitan area. If you are not in this local area, tune now to a station providing news and information for your local area. You are listening to the emergency alert system serving the Chicago metropolitan area. Do not use your telephone. The telephone lines must be kept open for emergency use only. The emergency alert system has been activated.
This is a message from your new government. We are pleased to announce that you have been freed from the terrors of greedy and corrupt leadership. No more will a select few control the entirety of our wealth. No more will people be forced to sleep in our streets while homes are vacant. We will all work together to achieve our goals and build our new nation. Trust in us. Trust in your fellow man. Together, we will build the greatest country the world has ever seen.
This is the Southern American Christian Republic. Now that you are no longer under the jurisdiction of the United States government, our new mission will be building our new state under a meticulous, Christ-centered plan with strong, faithful leaders who will guide this new nation to prosperity. It must be emphasized that degeneracy will not be tolerated and will result in severe legal action taken against you. More information on what constitutes as degeneracy will follow shortly. Every government-run facility will be required to have a display of the Ten Commandments. Church attendance will now be required by law. Prayer will now be required at the beginning of every school day. These are only some of the changes that will be taking place in the coming weeks. President Copeland will speak on all television stations shortly.
We're here to inform you that you are no longer under the jurisdiction of the United States government. Your area has now been designated as New England Federation territory. Many of the restrictive policies made by the United States government will be overturned, such as drug classifications and tax policies. Weapons that were previously banned, such as the so-called assault rifle, are now legal to purchase at any gun store. Many other nonsensical restrictions will be put up to a referendum on whether or not they should be nullified within the coming weeks. The New England federal government will have less of an influence on the general public, although many obvious laws need to remain in place. More updates will be available shortly. Long live the New England Federation.
Alright you guys, this whole secession situation is completely out of control. How do you all suppose we handle this?
Well, we've sent in the National Guard when the unrest began, and that clearly was not effective enough. I think a good question to ask is, what did we do during the first Civil War that helped defeat the Confederacy?
That's a valid point. However, we must also take into consideration the various technological advancements that have occurred within the last 160 years. What worked then may not be as effective today.
So how can we use these technological advancements to our advantage?
Well, one thing we need to consider is that we are not only fighting the southern states, but also the western and northeastern states. We need to be careful of where we plan our offensive because if we focus too hard on one faction, another nearby faction could potentially intercept our attack. Although I do suppose we can also use this logic against these militias.
Are you suggesting that we wait for these factions to fight each other, and then intercept their attack? Are you crazy? That would never work. That would just end up with both factions on our tails at once.
Well, what would you suggest then?
I'm merely suggesting that the way to go is to simply take these groups out one by one. For example, the communists in the West are probably going to be fighting the far-right ultranationalists in the South along the Texas-New Mexico border. If we go to the opposite side and stage a series of land and air attacks along the southern borders of Tennessee and North Carolina, the SACR will be fighting a two-front war, which will better our chances of beating them.
I'm on board with that idea.
I am as well. And then once we clash with the communists, wherever that may be, we can start taking them out from there.
Okay, next question. What about the New England Federation in the Northeast? What can we do about them?
Until we can take out the communists in the West and the far-right ultranationalists in the South, we can just station troops along the Mason-Dixon line, so that they can prepare for any attacks by the NEF.
While we're still on this topic, it may be a good idea to form Navy blockades along the coastlines of the states we have lost, so as to prevent any outside trade being intercepted by the militia groups.
I guess it's settled then. Let's give out the orders.
This is an emergency message from the SACR government. An attack has been initiated against our nation. The United States government has reached the 35th parallel and has begun a land and air invasion into Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. This is in addition to the USSWR invasion into Texas, which has been ongoing for the past few weeks. Casualties are currently in the neighborhood of 1,000 to 2,000 people. Forces are currently being mobilized in these areas to combat the incoming armies. In the event that you find yourself in the crossfire of the invasion, you are advised to find cover inside an interior room with minimal windows and entrances. We will not allow this attack on our nation to break our spirit. The Spirit of God will guide us to victory.
This is an administrative message from the United States government and the Texas state capitol. The Southern American Christian Republic has agreed to a total and unconditional surrender of all its remaining territory. This means that you are now once again under the jurisdiction of the United States government. However, it is still advised that you remain in your shelter for an additional 72 hours, so as to prevent getting caught in any residual crossfire. Your government thanks you for your cooperation during this emergency. Regular programming will resume as soon as the television stations have been restored.
This is an emergency message from the USSWR central government. The United States military has began an invasion into our republic. The areas currently under attack include eastern Colorado, eastern New Mexico, and northern Arizona. If you are currently in these areas, seek shelter indoors immediately, or if you believe you can safely evacuate, do so now. Our militia is currently being mobilized to keep these unwanted invaders out. We will never succumb to these imperialists. We must persevere through these battles. The spirit of our camaraderie will lead us to victory. Long live the Union of Socialist Southwest Republics.
Immediate evacuation is advised for Newcastle County. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Delaware Office of Emergency Management. At 7:26 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the New England Federation Army was reported to be attacking the city of Wilmington and surrounding areas. An estimated 15,000 paramilitary personnel are marching through the streets in an attempt to gain control of the city. The New England Army has caused significant damage to city property in residential and industrial areas. The governor's office has issued an evacuation order which will immediately go into effect for the entirety of Newcastle County. The United States military will be dispatched to fight off the incoming army. Evacuate now. If you refuse, you will be putting your life at risk. Remember to remain calm at all times, and take any additional precautions necessary to ensure your safety. Stay tuned to media outlets for more information on the situation.
This is an administrative message from the United States government and the California state capitol. The Union of Socialist Southwest Republics is well on its way to being defeated. The state of California, as well as Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado have been readmitted to the Union. Residents in those states are now free to exit their shelters. Your government thanks you for your cooperation as we attempt to reunify the United States. Regular programming will resume when TV stations are restored. This is an administrative message from the United States government and the Department of Homeland Security. Due to the Union's recent capture of the cities of Boston, New York, and Philadelphia, the supplies for the New England Federation Army have been cut off, thus weakening the Army to the point of surrender. The United States has been restored to its original 50 states. If you are currently inside of a shelter, wait 72 hours before exiting your shelter to prevent any residual gunfire from striking you. The President will speak on all radio and television stations shortly. The United States government thanks all who cooperated during this emergency. All normal programming operations will resume as soon as the television stations have been restored.